Welcome everyone to our Gen AI and Healthcare webinar series. I'm here with Ravi. He is Vice President, Head of Sales for Evidence Healthcare and Life Science Industry in America. He has a background in technology and graduated in computer science and engineering. For the past decade, Ravi has been passionate about leveraging technology to solve many of customers' challenges. I look forward to chatting with him about how generative AI is fundamentally changing the business of U.S. healthcare.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, everybody. Really glad to be here today. Brian is head of data science and AI and has been engineering and providing leadership for healthcare for over 30 years. He wrote the first clinical trial analytics platform for Abbott Labs, worked at Cerner, and brought machine learning to Amgen. He now leads cloud generative AI efforts globally for Evident. What a great presentation we have today. I want to set the stage and talk about the precipice that we are sitting on right now with regards to data. If we look at the progression of how data has been generated and managed, we had the mainframe era where we had megabytes of data being generated. We then went into the gigabytes era with the network computing space, and then into the terabytes of data with the SMAC or the social media cloud and analytics space. We are now looking at billions of people and dozens of billions of machines generating and processing data globally every minute, every second of every day. And this is generating zettabytes of data. And the zettabyte is a trillion gigabytes. Think about that. It is a lot of data that cannot be processed any longer by humans alone. We require the assistance of artificial intelligence. This is where we want to use this conversation to look at how data and the loads of data that is being generated in the healthcare space can be leveraged by organizations using technology to help improve the various aspects of patient wellness, clinician efficiency, reduction of costs, and increasing of revenues for our customers.
Healthcare organizations are in an inflection point and leading in the adoption of Gen AI. A single hospital produces 50 petabytes of data a year. This is equivalent to 170 years of high definition video footage. 75% of healthcare companies are experimenting right now. The global generative AI healthcare market size was valued at 1.6 billion in 2022, and it'll be up to 30.4 billion by 2032, growing at a CAGR of 35% almost from 23 to 32. We're seeing patient care changing based off of this technology. We're becoming more productive and cost effective. We're innovating breakthrough technology. We're also being very aware of risk and compliance as we move along. And as we'll present in a few slides from now, we'll highlight on that. And we've been able to personalize healthcare and become more precise in our medical delivery.
We are going to take a look at 3 areas today within the healthcare and life sciences space to illustrate how organizations have started to leverage generative AI technologies and models to help improve the areas within their organizations. The first space is in personalized care. This is arguably one of the most important areas for healthcare organizations, especially hospital systems and health insurance organizations, as they look to better serve their customers. Today, we're going to take a look at 3 areas that are of importance and have taken the lead, so to speak, in organizations trying to serve their customers better. The first is care management content generation. As you can imagine, there is a lot of content that needs to be created. And when we combine the personalized care of patients and how we want to generate content that is very specific to an individual, there is a lot that needs to be done. And here, generative AI technologies and models certainly come to use. Second area or the second use case is in clinical patient communication. This is so important as we try and ascertain, or as the clinicians try and ascertain the root cause of what's going on, how to create care models for those patients, and how to keep track of the progression of wellness. And the third use case that we find very useful for our customers is in disease progression modeling. We've seen this in various areas when it comes to diabetes care, kidney disease progression, etc. And some of the areas where Evident has created some very specific solutions that are ready to be used for our customers are in the LEP space for low English proficiency patients. We have noticed that our solutions and tools can help bridge that gap and provide for that aftercare efficiency with our patients. And then Fahrenheit is our document automation service, where we are able to look at vast numbers of data to solve many of these use cases that we've just looked at. The second area that we would like to focus today on is in the space of automation of administrative tasks. As you all can imagine, large healthcare organizations have loads of data, several processes, and there is a lot that rides on these processes being efficient and the data being accurate. Generative AI solutions help tremendously in this space. One use case that we have found useful is in ambient digital scribing, where clinicians are able to scribe much more efficiently and are able to get from one patient to the next without skipping a beat, and be able to get all of their notes into the EHRs and EMRs. Automation of compliance checks, which is a very important aspect. This is a space where we have noticed that generative AI technologies help tremendously. And then the third use case is in patient discharge summary. This is an area where organizations we have noticed have started this process of pulling all of that information that they have about that patient, all the way from when the patient registered and walked in the door, through all of the pre-care, surgery and post-surgery. And then finally, when you're putting all of this radiology, lab data together and the clinician notes, et cetera, together to create those summaries, we have noticed that it is very useful to have the data processed and for generative AI technologies to play a role. So the generative process automation, or the GPA, is a unique solution that we have built. Classic is another area where we are able to take medical coding to the next level to provide very accurate codes that can be created based on the services that have been provided, and for very accurate billing purposes. And then the third area that we would like to look at today is in content analysis and generation. As you can imagine, there are so many things that could not have been done in the past that can be done today. We're looking at the art of the possible here, because of all of the data that are streaming in from various sources. And we have picked three use cases today: analytics for group reporting. This is one space where leadership needs to have data readily available in order for them to make very accurate, timely decisions. So we've got some solutions over there that can help with that. Generative standard operating procedures and the creation of those. We have noticed that generative AI is extremely efficient in taking data from the past, analyzing how SOPs have been created for clinical studies as an example, and then generating new ones for very specific tasks. So we've noticed that is another area that is useful. And then the healthcare analysis itself, when you look at the complexity of the ecosystem that we have within our organizations to take all of the data and then create analysis based on that, generative AI is super efficient when it comes to it. We at Eviden, have our alliance partnerships with all of the hyperscalers and with various smart platform solutions and partners. And we have been able to create these healthcare data platforms that are very useful to our customers. And then synthetic data generation is another solution that we felt useful for us to talk about today, where, when we're talking about HIPAA compliance and PII data, when we have synthetic data that can be generated that mimics real data, but it does not compromise anything at all, it makes that whole process of doing the analysis in sandboxes, etc., extremely efficient. And we've noticed that our solutions are efficient, super efficient, and help our customers make that leap into the generative AI space.
Thank you, Ravi. Now we've looked at some of the use cases here, some solutions we have about it. Let's talk about the ecosystem of people it take to build a generative AI solution in this space. In the center, you have the user, and the goal is to support that user with a layer of the creating layer for creating apps to access the generative AI and customizing those, and then customizing the models underneath with your data, making your data availability, making models available and choosing the models. And of course, then you have your observing layer, which we always take very seriously, the security and the observation of use and the analytics around it, and evaluating the performance on an ongoing basis. You'll see on here, there's a lot of different roles it takes, everything from project managers to data scientists. It takes project managers also to create the apps and UI, UX and people. And of course, in the general space, you'll even run into some bad actors, which we must protect you from the bad actors. And that's why it's important to partner with one of the leading cybersecurity consulting firms, Eviden. So that's a large ecosystem, all supporting users. Another observation here is even those creating the system are using generative AI to do things like code generation and making data for analytics and things like that. There are some considerations, there's some words of caution here, that models and predictions are, going to have a varying level of ability to be perfect. Prediction by its nature is never 100% perfect. So we have to protect against the hallucinations that the generative model could create. We have to be sure that the human is in the loop and using reasoning to validate results. We care a lot about the data security. We know that data shifts over time, and we want to watch out for data shift during production of these models. We have to care a lot about the governance and considerations there, especially around this area that has data that's very sensitive. And also, we have to be sure that data is not biased towards one area or the other. So putting that all together, there's a lot of safeguards we've been very experienced in putting into place so that you'll experience the best end product. There's two areas that we're highly differentiating. The one on the left here is the ability to talk about a use case, to evaluate certain metrics around use cases. So if you give us a stack of 20 different Gen AI use cases, we can stack rank those on areas like the risk and especially the ROI, where we calculate the cost of build and consumption, mitigate that by the widgets made or the time saved or disasters avoided. We care a lot about the availability of data, the objective that it aligns with your business goals, the flavor of generative AI, and of course, whether it's feasible or not. So we often do these workshops. We do use case thinking phases to get the use cases very clearly defined. And then when we go to deliver these in a pilot stage, like in phase 2 or even production stage, we have a whole rainbow of services here, everything from user experience to even change management, changing the way you work. Of course, the sciences and ML ops, we have infrastructure and DevOps, we have data and security, and of course we have governance around that as well. So it's a one-stop shop as regarding who you need to go to accomplish your generative AI goals. A little deeper on that phased approach, we offer a free workshop for validated opportunities where we can talk about these use cases. Once we have identified some priority use cases, we can go through a several-week deep dive and talk to your subject matter experts and your end users about what they're expecting from it. We can quickly partner with your technology stacks and build a prototype of that technology in phase 2. And then in phase 3, we can do a complete system integration of that technology in your environment, always being aware of cost, security, transparency of results, and make it very manageable as a solution.
Thanks, Brian. When we put all of this together and we look at it in context of where the industry is today and where it is going, Gartner has stated that generative AI is going to be disruptive, akin to how the steam engine, electricity, and the internet were disruptive to human lives. Think about that. It's going to be fundamental as we move forward. HFS has rated Evident as a leader in the Gen AI space. So, how would you want to partner with us? It's extremely simple. Get a hold of us. We have our accelerator programs for Gen AI. We are able to establish quick discovery opportunity discussions, which could lead to innovation labs and workshops. And we have, as Brian has just stated, an understanding of the entire ecosystem, the various players involved, and Evident has the capabilities to bring the breadth of services that can help you from the beginning till the end, and then the operations that go along with that for the long-term leverage of generative AI technologies to help you identify use cases and solve business challenges that you have today. I hope you found this discussion extremely helpful and useful. We are here to help at all times. We look forward to hearing from you. Your comments are requested and encouraged. Please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to get a conversation going with you. Thank you so much. Brian, last word to you.
Yeah, thank you again for joining us today. As Ravi mentioned, we're very open to having conversations and help identifying those use cases together and bringing those all the way from idea to finish line. So thanks again, and we appreciate your attention today.